welcome back to another episode of ABA Mom, where we talk real life, real parenting, and real behavior. If you're ever Googled at 11 a.m., 3 a.m., whatever time, in the middle of the night, in the middle of the day, how do I get ABA therapy? This episode is for you. Because let's be honest, no one hands you a roadmap, no one explains the process clearly, and if you can feel overwhelming, confusing, and sometimes discouraging. So today I'm breaking it down step by step, no fluff, just clarity. ABA stands for Applied Behavior Analysis. It's designed to help children build skills like communication, social interactions, can be daily living, reducing challenging behaviors. It's most commonly used for children with autism spectrum disorder. However, it can also support other developmental needs. So that's one thing too, is that a lot of people do make that assumption that applied behavior analysis is only for individuals with autism, and that just isn't the case. Step one. So you do have to have some kind of diagnosis. Like I said, it doesn't necessarily have to be autism spectrum disorder. It could be, for example, like oppositional defiance disorder. It could be ADHD, for example. So there's a lot of other diagnoses that could qualify you for ABA services. So most insurances do require you to have a diagnosis. You can get the diagnosis from a developmental psychologist. There are different ones that you can find, or a developmental pediatrician, neurologist. There's different ones in different areas. If your child does not yet have a diagnosis, you can also ask your pediatrician to get a referral to go get a diagnosis or get evaluated for a diagnosis. Call your insurance and ask who's in network. If you're looking into getting an autism evaluation, you can ask for an autism evaluation as well. Sometimes they do look for other diagnoses as well. If you can get on waiting lists early, because they can be long, but they often will have cancellations and you can get in a little bit sooner too. If you already have a diagnosis, you're already ahead. Step 2, call your insurance company. This part matters. Call the number on the back of your insurance card and ask, does my plan cover ABA therapy? Because there are some insurance companies, unfortunately, that do not cover ABA therapy. Do I need prior authorizations? What is my deductible? Is there a session limit? Do I need a referral? And for most ABA companies, you do need a referral. Your insurance often requires a referral. Write everything down. Do not rely on, I think it's covered. Get some confirmation through your insurance and find out your deductibles. Also, you're going to have to look for an ABA provider. That's step 3. So you can search ABA therapy near me, or use insurance directory, or you can ask your child's pediatrician. When you call, ask, do you accept insurance? Do you have a wait list? What are the ages that you serve? And also make sure that even though your insurance covers ABA therapy, that ABA company takes your insurance. Another thing to ask is, do you offer in-home, clinic, or school-based services? That's an important piece, because I know that sometimes the assumption is, if you're not familiar with ABA services, that it might be in a clinic, or the expectation is in homes. So make sure to get clarification, because there's different ways that ABA could be provided. Good providers will explain the intake process clearly to you. So step 4 is the intake and assessment. Once you've chosen your provider, you complete intake paperwork. BCBA, board certified behavior analyst like myself, schedules an assessment. They observe your child, ask you questions such as background, communication, behavior, what their daily routines are, strengths and needs. And then they write a treatment plan. So once you get the approval from your insurance, a BCBA can start the assessment. A lot of times families think that we can just go ahead and have services once they see the BCBA. However, a treatment plan has to be created, and that does take a little bit of time to develop and put all the pieces together and collect any data that was covered during the assessment and anything that the insurance might be looking for. And then you'll sign for the plan, and then that goes to your insurance for approval. Step 5, authorization and starting services. Insurance reviews the treatment plan. Once approved, you'll get assigned therapist. You'll often see an RBT. That's kind of your daily one-on-one. That's who's hands-on. So the RBT, you'll see like daily, maybe not every day, but for a lot of days, you might see an RBT. And then a BCBA comes, they might work directly and also provides supervision RBT and parent training. The BCBA also adjusts goals, they develop the treatment plan. They also continue with the treatment plan and developing goals and assessing the treatment plan. So that's when the real work begins. That's the real progress. A big question too is, what if I can't afford it? So, and that one is always so difficult, I think, because I would love to just provide service for everybody, but I know it can definitely be costly. So like if your insurance like has a high copay, you can also look at like getting a secondary insurance. That's definitely a possibility. Another thing to look into is if you qualify for Medicaid or Healthy Kids. If you have kids that maybe qualify for like state waiver programs, scholarships such as Step Up Unique Abilities Scholarship can cover some of those funds. Some providers provide sliding fee scales to help with some of the costs and offset the costs. Sometimes there's out-of-network reimbursement options. So just go ahead and explore every route and like what kind of works for your family. Real talk. So this process can feel overwhelming, slow, especially with waitlists. Sometimes the frustration, I hear you guys on that, but you can advocate for your child during this process. And that to me is so powerful. You don't have to have everything all at once, just one step at a time. It is a process. The biggest thing is you'll just need a diagnosis. So, a diagnosis is very important. Getting that referral is important. And then you just need to research insurance, ABA providers, if you go the insurance route. And a lot of companies, they tend to work with you if you have any difficulties with like finances and things like that too. So just take it one step at a time, one phone call, one appointment, one form at a time. A lot of times if you call up an ABA company, they can walk you through the steps if you're ever unclear about what the next step should be. But definitely go back to that step one, a diagnosis. And just remember, it doesn't have to be an autism diagnosis necessarily to qualify for ABA services. So that's how it starts. So if this episode helped you at all, share it with another mom or dad who's this where do I begin stage. And remember, you are not behind, you are not failing, you are learning how to navigate the system that wasn't built clearly for everyone. And I think that makes you very strong. Until next time, remember, you are not on this journey alone.